Good afternoon. Thank you for taking the time today to learn about situational awareness with MIOSHA. The reason we are focusing on this is because we are seeing a rise in fatalities due to caught in and struck by across all industries. These may also be called contact incidents. First, what is situational awareness? Situational awareness, as we see it, is the adaptive, externally directed consciousness focused on acquiring knowledge about a dynamic task environment and directed action within that environment. Put simply, stay alert for everyone so that we all go home. My name is Rebecca Moshi. I am an occupational safety advisor for general industry with MIOSHA.
And my name is Nell Allen, and I'm the Occupational Safety Advisor in construction industry for MIOSHA.
Put yourself at your work site and think about all the distractions you face at any given moment. Is it loud? Are alarms sounding for equipment moving? What about vehicles moving around you? How many vehicles do you need to keep track of while doing your job? Is someone talking with you? Are you listening to something? A podcast? Music? Think about a time you were listening to something and someone asked you a question. Did you get all the information the first time? Are you stressed about something at work or at home? Financial pressures? Do these things impede your situational awareness? The reason we are here today is because we are seeing a rise in workplace fatalities due to caught in and struck by incidents across Michigan. As you can see by the graph, this trend has continued since 2019. Currently, we are averaging 22 fatalities per year due to this. 2026 is starting with 70% of our fatalities being contact fatalities. To address this, we looked at fatalities since 2019 and summarized key protective measures for this presentation. Images in this presentation are from Michigan fatalities. Today, we will address fatalities in general industry covering vehicle service, lockout, machine guarding, material movement, trees, and vehicle accidents. Under construction, we will cover mobile equipment, work zones, and being near roadways. While we have chosen to cover those under construction, the risks are applicable to general industry. In addition, there will be a construction focus on maintenance and material handling. Emblems are on each slide indicating the industry they are related to, though some recommendations are important for all industries. Tire inflation is an extremely hazardous task that every day some of us do with little thought to the hazard we are exposed to. In this image, the tire exploded with enough force to hit the ceiling and cause that hole, in addition to killing the person airing it up. When inflating tires, ensure they are restrained either on the vehicle or in a rim cage. It is also important that a clip-on chuck is utilized so that the employee can hold the chuck to the valve stem while keeping their body out of the trajectory of the tire should it explode. Finally, ensure the manufacturer tire pressure is known and it is not inflated beyond its rated capacity. Working on vehicles is very hazardous, and one mistake could be catastrophic. When lifted, ensure there is a secondary support accounting for jack and hydraulic failure. Inspect lifting equipment and remain within the capacity of your lifting equipment. While working on vehicles, ensure hazards are locked out. Often missed are stored pressure in suspension, cooling, and fuel systems. Additionally, tension and gravity need to be addressed, usually by blocking in the lockout procedure to protect against springs and support component failure. Moving on from vehicles to lockout in general, it is important that all possibilities have been accounted for. Could nearby equipment like robots, cranes, and conveyors hurt the person doing maintenance on a different piece of equipment? Anything that could come into the space where service and maintenance is performed needs to be locked out as well. In the top image, a maintenance worker was working on one crane when a different crane hit a component they were working on, pinning them. Just like in the previous slide, often missed components of a lockout procedure are accounting for hydraulic failure, stored pressure, springs, and gravity. Some things to consider. Is it designed to flip or dump? What if you accidentally cut a hydraulic line? Has all pressure been relieved? What is the spring holding? Finally, verify that all hazardous energy has been controlled by reviewing gauges, checking for live electrical, and attempting to start the equipment before work begins. Improperly guarded equipment can catch a person's body part or clothing, pulling them in or crushing them with the material. It is important to guard motion that could cause injury. Always ensure guards are in place before the work with the machine begins. Guarding for rotating shafts on conveyors is often missed. In the bottom image, you can see the remains of the coat the person was wearing when they were caught in the rotating shaft. If guarding is with something that has a sensor, verify the functionality of the sensor. This applies to equipment such as light curtains, area scanners, and pressure maps. Material movement is the cause of many fatalities and injuries across industries. It is important to ensure materials are secured safely. Is it restrained to handle the full load? What if the load falls with force? Maintain clear zones beneath suspended loads to ensure an employee is never exposed. When releasing straps, prevent material from moving and ensure all employees are clear of material that may move. Could material be thrown from a conveyor? Personnel need to be protected from this. Could material being loaded in a machine, like a wood chipper, pull a person in? Have protective measures in place, like standing to the side, to protect those loading such a machine. When working with powered industrial trucks, like forklifts, it is imperative that the operator keeps their entire body within the cab. Wearing a seatbelt and not reaching past the roll cage are key safety measures. Slowing down protects the operator and other employees. Ensure material is lifted within the capacity of the equipment. If modifications have been made to any of the lifting mechanisms, like longer forks, how does it change the capacity? Any modifications made to a powered industrial truck must be approved by the manufacturer. Finally, when moving material, ensure care is taken to protect others from material that may be destabilized. This can be accomplished by barricading surrounding areas to prevent personnel from entering. There are also specific safety measures that can be taken with cranes. Maintain the path of travel clear of personnel and material. Ensure the operator is at a safe distance and is wearing necessary PPE, such as a hard hat. Those securing loads need to be trained on proper rigging. This should include information on fully threading the die bolts, metric versus imperial if both are available for use, and how angles change the rigging capacity. Finally, rigging must be rated for the load. Dead or sick trees may fall. It is recommended that the area employees will be is inspected, noting dead or sick trees and other hazards. Keep personnel and their travel paths clear of these hazards. This also applies to areas where the tree will be felled or limbs removed. Ensure those removing trees have been trained on approved cuts and work uphill should the terrain be at an incline. We also lost workers to being hit, rolled on, or run over by the vehicle they were operating. Walking the area and flagging or noting areas that drop off suddenly or that are at a greater incline than the equipment is rated for is a great protective step. Slow down and turn at safe speeds. Wear the seatbelt and have the rollover protection up. When exiting the vehicle, put it in park and shut it off, even if it is just for a short time. Utilize the parking brake. Finally, test and maintain the brakes and other equipment components. This is the end of the general industry portion of the presentation. I will leave you with Nell to address the construction situational awareness.
Thank you, Rebecca. Contact fatalities made up 50% of MIOSHA construction fatalities from 2019 to 2024. These include struck by, caught in, caught between, and crushed by incidences. All the photographs in this presentation are from MIOSHA covered fatalities involving our fellow Michiganders. Contributing factors to these fatalities include distractions, both pedestrian and also operator distractions or workers that are working around equipment. Obstructed views of operators and workers working within the blind spots of the equipment, and the removal or the disabling of safety devices. Safety belts are provided and are to be used on all equipment with rollover protective structures, and they are intended to keep the individuals inside the equipment if the equipment loses balance and rolls over. You want to ride it out, don't jump out. Poor maintenance on vehicles lead to deterioration of brakes, hydraulics, and other critical functions that are there to help move mass loads. And when they fail, the loads are imposed on whatever lies beneath. Regular inspections and maintenance can highlight impeding failures in equipment before ever posing a hazard to the workers or the operators. 55% of construction contact fatalities involve vehicles and mobile equipment. We want to train each worker on the layout of the job sites, the zones to avoid, the blind spots of the equipment, and how to communicate with the operators. If there are obstructed views, utilize a spotter to signal to the operator and the surrounding workers when it's safe for the equipment to move. We can barricade loading zones and swing zones and utilize safety devices such as movement signaling alarms and safety belts. Each day is a new changing day on all construction sites. So we want to assess and pre-plan for that day and hold daily huddle-ups and address the hazards such as grade changes, holes, excavation, and other exposures. Work zones next to work roadways pose unique hazards involving workers and pedestrians alike. Flaggers are required to have specific training and MDOT certification. They must always wear their appropriate high visibility apparel as well as personal protective equipment. They must also set up in such a way to always have an escape route in the event that there's an errant vehicle. They should always face the traffic they are guiding and maintain vigilance. We could utilize rotating amber lights to also identify the vehicles that are working within the work zones and the barriers. Modern technology provides us with new equipment and tools to minimize worker exposures. These can include automatic flagger assistance devices, as well as instruments that can be set up throughout the entire work zone that can monitor speeds, collect data on trends, and help engineers and employers to plan their sites accordingly. There are also systems available that could give each worker breach warnings simultaneously so they can evacuate to the nearest clear zone and out of the way of the hazards. These and other devices help to minimize the human exposure. When working near roadways and within work zones, operators of all mobile equipment should stay vigilant with blind spots and continuously assess surroundings, acknowledging other workers and activities while navigating through the sites. All drivers, including pedestrians, should minimize distractions and stay focused. As drivers, we all must do our part to keep workers safe when we're driving through work zones. Transitioning from work zones, we'll talk about maintenance. Maintenance should be done by qualified workers, and always remember to apply blocking and cribbing to support the suspended loads. Again, we should perform regular inspections to identify the weaknesses or potential failures in hydraulics, booms, cables, and braking systems. It is imperative to follow the maintenance and inspection schedules of the manufacturer's recommendation. Unless it's otherwise specified in the manufacturer's instruction, equipment should be shut down, locked out, and the brakes set before working on it. It is a requirement to provide training to qualify our riggers in material handling. The riggers and operators need to be able to communicate effectively, and especially if they are not using universal hand signals. Laydown yards, lift zones, and swing radiuses should be barricaded and known to all workers to avoid the exposure to suspended loads. And riggers should use guidelines or leads whenever possible. We should communicate daily with workers the goals of the day, the danger zones, and the work processes, material storage and laydown yards, and the lift zones. All materials should be stored in such a way as to prevent displacement, whether from weather or contact with equipment, including proper stacking and racking of material. Employees should avoid material laydown areas unless required to assist operators. Operators should never overload the equipment, even if they believe the machine can handle more. Utilize the load charts located within the equipment and stay within the limits of the machine, and use the machine as intended to avoid failure. Thank you for taking the time to work with us today. We have a number of outreach resources available, including a website dedicated to situational awareness with information, contacts, and links available at Michigan.gov // StayAlert. This webinar is also being recorded and will be available on that website for future reference as well as these presentations. We will also be initiating a state emphasis program and creating an MTI course that will be released in the future. We need to remember that we need to train our workers on the hazards associated with the project site and their work. We should also maintain open communication utilizing high visibility on all sites, visually and verbally communicating hazard areas, work zones, and locations. All workers should maintain focus and vigilance and minimize their distractions. And throughout each and every day, we all make choices that not only impact our lives, but also others. And we need to make sure those choices ensure we stay alert for everyone and are aware today to be alive tomorrow. So thank you everyone for coming together and joining us for this presentation, and we look forward to working with you in the future.